Thokozani bogogo, thokozani bomkhulu, thokozani didlondlo. Siyavusela emakhaya. Siyajabula ukuba khona namuhla. Wow. I I have actually missed you guys. I've missed these classes. I have missed the time of learning, the time that I spend nabomkhulu, and the time that I spend with you guys, sharing and learning on Tinzabateli. Ngiyabonga kakhulu ukuthi sibeketelela that you guys are here. We have Mkhulu Manzolwandle today. We will be discussing in Ukuthwasa the actual Ukuthwasa, which is the graduation of my students, Mkhulu, or Ukuthwasa. That's what they are normally referred to as Ukuthwasa. So that's what we're going to be talking about: the graduation ceremony, what it actually entails, what it signifies, and we're going to be looking at the different elements of the Ukuthwasa process. Thokoza khehla njani?
Thokoza kukhona kunjani?
Ngiyaphila mkhulu. Emakhaya njani?
Hey, ayiyabulala. Kuyabulala.
It's rough, eh? It is so rough. And it's so busy as well.
Hey,
you find and then there's so much work to be done.
Yep.
But I guess it also keeps us warm because imagine if you're getting to do such late in J. Siblawa makata. Thokoza khehla.
Thokoza gogo.
Thokoza vusela mkhulu, vusela khehla, vusela the
Yes. I actually know I was just to thokozisa wonke umuntu who has joined us, and again ukuthi angivuseleni inkosi zami phela ngoba ibonisa inhlonipho njalo. Wonke umuntu that has been of course watching the lessons, the Afro CV, and the one who's watching now, and those that will watch it later. Thokozani.
Thokozani khehla. Thokoza. I was introducing the topic that today we're going to be talking about the graduation ceremony, mainly the significance of it and what actually happens. We'll discuss the different elements as much as we possibly can, and their significance. The graduation, which is called Ukuthwasa, a lot of people call it Ukuthwasa. In Siswati, that's what it is. Here, but it's Ukuthwasa. And so we're going to talk about the Ukuthwasa. We're also going to talk about Ukuparula, which is part of the graduation as well, which is what happens in the water. Thokoza khehla. We can just get into it unless you want maybe to introduce the topic.
No. I think the thing about today's topic is simple. It's been a run of 7 classes, and this being the last class of under the topic of Ukuthwasa, and it is relevant and how it's also scheduled that today you will be touching on the issue of Ukuthwasa, which is the end of the journey in terms of the initiation part. So yeah, looking forward.
Thokoza khehla. We're also looking forward to hearing from you. Okay, yeah. I'm going to ask you the first question, which would be maybe just to explain what Ukuthwasa is. I know I've just briefly tried to introduce the topic, but just please explain what it is, what it entails, and you can look at, we have Umguni, we have Lotlasekaya, we have Amadlozi. So you can just go as broadly as you want. We also have his prophet. Let's not leave out his prophet, which is a big part of the ceremony as well. Thokoza khehla.
Go about the process of Ukuthwasa. There's different explanations. Different people will come with different explanations in terms of significance and the process. It differs. However, the principle will remain the same. You've got a child who came through ukungena ephehlweni esilomuntu uzothwasa. This person is starting the process of initiating. A lot of training and things are done throughout, being it 6 months, being a year, however the period. Now it gets to a point like anything in life. You have to reach a certain milestone where you are saying now you are considered having learned what you are supposed to have learned. Now we are getting to a point where we are saying, I suppose like manje ifuna kuhamba uyophothula, meaning the day yentwaso. La kuthi akhona umuntu says that uyodla intwaso ke manje. And this is where sometimes I always say there are people who believe intwaso is the process itself. whichever how long it is, the initiation process. There are people who believe that Ukuthwasa is that weekend where uphothula khona, but uyathwasa on that day, which again, as I say, principle remains the same. It is a becoming of some sort, because now you have done your training. Now you have to be sure that you are graduated. Just like any school, any degree, you can't study forever. It gets to a point where after assessments, you're going to say, okay, we've assessed you, we're happy with your progress, now we are going to do graduation. That's what this process is. However, Amadlozi, you must remember, Amadlozi are different. Everything has been done. They've been monitored, assessed to see to that level. Because you must remember, they don't set into us a date, which is the date of you Upotu, until they observe certain developments in you as it was. In some places, 10 people can come through the process, only 5 betwasa bapotu. So you see, it will always differ. However, that weekend or that process of potula, that is when then you're being graduated. You are getting graduation because it is your graduation day. We are sure whatever way the bezangakon or now in vunulo yako manje usisango basically. You are now can start telling people who time whatever you do.
Togoz, okay. Togoz, you explain it very well, Mauti. At the end of the day, you have done what you had come to do. You have done the training that you had come to get. And I like how you speak about assessment, because there has to be a kind of way really to assess that you have actually passed everything that you're supposed to learn in the space or in the time. It's I don't know if we should speak about there's just controversial issues when you come now to assessment and the readiness of Kupotula. Yes. And how it's because I found that people we find so many sangomas that have actually potulad, but this just it's what is there's. I'm not going to question the Dlozi. I'm not questioning the Dlozi. I'm just questioning the process that if people find people who have potulad, they've not gained any knowledge of divination tools, and this has nothing to do with the Dlozi, but everything may be to do with where they have been training. I think, of course. Yeah. So they have they don't know how to divine. They have not learned anything about umuti. There's just so much that goes into this training that it also is not only up to the Dlozi, because it sends you and navigates you to that place where you're supposed to get your training. It has a plan. We assume that the Dlozi has a plan. But when you get to that place, it also is the Dlozi that guides the Gobela. But also the Gobela guides the process. There should be some kind of program that the Gobela knows that these are the things, these are the tools, and these are the things that I'm going to know that will show me that this person is actually ready to go out and heal. So a person should be able to, by the graduation time, by the time that they graduate, they should be able to the basic thing to divide. They should be able to heal a person that walks in. They should be able to know the basic mutis at least. They should be able to know to gaba. So it's I'm just wanting you to emphasize on the facilitation process, that it's not just about the Dlozi, but it is also about the Gobela, the two working together to get the person to a point of readiness for graduation.
Yes. Gogo, you've opened it very well. You said it's a controversial topic. You've opened it very well. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. Can I just hold on for me? Yeah. There's few things that I would like to touch on. As I said, you said it's a controversial topic. It is. Yet at the same time, you brought a very important part. There is a facilitation process. We talk about the assessment of Ukuthwasa before Lipotul. Hence, I also mentioned, not every twasa will phothula at the same time. Like if there are 10, I made an example. And I said, no, only 5 will go through that process. Because when they did the checks, they find this one is still lacking on certain areas. Now, let's go back. What is the Gobela's responsibility? Because now here we are talking to people, Abatwasile, and those that are still going to go through the process. Today we are dealing with the problem of Izangoma are in numbers. There's hundreds. Every year that are coming out of Amapesho that are potularing every hundreds.
Hundreds of thousands.
And then we have an issue when you talk to Isangoma Estwasile about simple things that they should know. And you realize they don't even know what you're talking about. Kufika, as an example, someone comes on a sinyama. And the assumption is that the zonke zenyama ziyafana, yet they are not. Kunesinyama samadlozi, kunesinyama sokuthakatha, kunesinyama sezinto wena your own doing, kunesinyama yezinto could be indaba yesiso, whatever it is. So this person is not even able to differentiate on those and to check and say, okay, lesinyama ngisibonayo lana is caused by this. Why are we having izangoma ezinjalo? It's exactly the question you posed. Baphothula kanjani abantu babezizangoma yet ubona ukuthi they can't even divine. It goes back to the beginning. You will remember on the session I was here, I think it was lesson 3. I mentioned that kuthwasiswa idlozi, not an individual. Meaning, my job as Ukobela is not to count the individual that is coming through, affording to go through the process or not. I need to check, is Elidlozi ready to undergo this process? During the process, in the first month of me having Itwasa like that's one of the things I need to check. How is this person developing? Meaning, how is Elidlozi developing in understanding the purpose of being here? There's so many things being done to help Idlozi to make sure ukuthi liyakhula. Now, let Idlozi learn that if alikhange lingene kungene an individual, you might have problems. So it means that as a Gobela, one of the things that you need to do, you need to just say, whoa, okay, something is wrong here. This person is not developing. A month has come past and this person has been here. I don't see any progress on the things that should have happened by now. That's when then you need to intervene from the beginning, not at the end. Another thing as Ukobela is you're asking your question, what facilitation is Ukobela supposed to do? One of the things Ukobela is supposed to do before you accept Itwasa into your eskolweni sakho, Idlozi can be ready. Yet there are issues, traditional issues that are family related. It could be that umuntu zangahlawule, for example. It could be that kunamasiko ekhaya that needs to be done before any of those family members go out ayotwasa. Those details are important to be checked, right? Why are we checking all of this? That checklist is important because we don't want at the end ukuphothula isangoma, the next thing abekanti umuntu akazukwazi nokwenza anything after that. That's the first things. Now, let's say, for example, Ungukobela, you've checked all of these and you are happy with this person. You are happy ukuthi onke amasiko ekhaya enziwe. You are so happy ukuthi idlozi lakhe vele li-ready for uthwasa. You are happy ukuthi lo muntu naye psychologically u-ready. Meaning, if usithi sizawujonga uCeli sijonga uSimenjalo, siyabona ukuthi labantu laba are in one, they are in sync. They understand why we are here. Uceli understands, Amadlozi understands. Now you are training the person, right? Whichever period again we are going to repeat. One of the things in the middle of the training you're supposed to be checking, are they able to divine? Ukuvusela, ukuhayiza, ukugida, all of those things are okay. Yet, unfortunately, after umphotulo, those are going to be as and when you go to Mgidinwe Zangoma. And umeni yakho akho need ukuthi ugide mangeni client ukudonsa idlozi ukuthi ayoze idlozi it doesn't apply. You understand? So it can't be the measure of us training or checking your readiness. That is okay, it's good. However, this person is called to heal. Are they going to be able to go and heal? So then it means that as Ukobela, one of your jobs is to facilitate the situation where you are giving them the tools that are necessary. And this is again, remember we saw in Gogo, you have to upfront check, is the person, is idlozi, is everything in order and in line before they enter to a school. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem of later, a lot of things are not done. Amadlozi can block your process. You could have dreamt of Ugobela Wako, rightfully so. Your Dlozi could have guided you to the place that you went to, or not. Yet, if the certain fundamentals are not looked at, then we are just, what are we doing? We're just producing numbers, not quality. So it is important that we don't produce numbers, Zangoma, in the hundreds of thousands, but we make sure that these people are going to go and make us proud as Zangoma out there.
You produce healers.
Exactly. So it is that's why there are tools, there's processes that you engage throughout the process to help the person to become Isangoma that they're supposed to be. Then now you are close to Potul. We are still in the issue of facilitation of Ukobela. Now we are close to an issue which was Potul. Remember, during this process, it could be 6 months. We need to make sure at some stage Amadlozi akho ayakwazi ukuthi aphume wona azikhulumele. Sizwe ukuthi khona ngabe khona na umuntu on a problem or onesikhalazo or kuna something that needs to be looked at. That's why amaphupha, the dreams of Ukuthwasa are very important. When Gobena, the interventions you are getting from Amadlozi Ukuthwasa akho is very important. So that engagement needs to happen all the time until Ukuthwasa. Unfortunately, Ukuthwasa is not, you have to be involved as Ukobela. You have to be involved as a Sangoma, as an initiate, as Ukuthwasa. You also have to be ready, present yourself as being ready. Hence, I was talking about the issue of being psychologically ready to a pathway before you come in. I need to check that. Are you ready? Do you understand what you're getting yourself into? So that you don't say in the middle of it, I was not sure this was coming. You understand? Oh, this is what I was supposed to expect. Because Landas is training those that properly. The way they used to be. So we don't need to block it in any way. That's why funny business must always be put aside. And you focus on developing the initiate to become a Sangoma that would make the people that made that person to become a Sangoma to be proud. Now, we are coming to Potul. There are processes that we're supposed to make sure that they are being ticked everywhere. As Ukobela, it's your job to make sure that those are done. Those are milestones during the process of trust. Make sure those are done. Yet, when it comes to Potul, let's make sure that by that time we are happy that this initiative that we are releasing to the world is not going to go and embarrass us. Instead, they will make us proud. Whatever actions they are going to make. And remember, this is not only about definition. There's a certain code of conduct Isangoma is supposed to subscribe to. One of the things I always say to Lais Godweni, we've got a principle. A female will be attended by another female when it comes to ukugezwa and all of that. Because we need to respect the privacy of the person. I can't take a male and say, hey, I can't do that. Because although these people are initiates or they are here to do whatever, they are also human. And the devil will always creep in one way or the other. Hence, Ipetro and the initiation process is supposed to encompass a lot of trainings and teachings. So by the time you are not only able to divine, but you also understand the code of conduct. That there are certain things that you can't do. One where I come from, always been taught, you don't enhance Idlo's lack. Don't go and get things that are going to get Idlo's lack or to see things like at another level. Leave that, let Idlo's lack develop the pace law and develop an accord. And let them work the way Bafun work an accord. So it is important as Ukobela to facilitate this process very carefully. So utuyo potula idlozi when the show lo muntu ebezotrain walana as ilento Ukuthwasa, you are proud ukuthi whatever they're going to do out there, at least you've done your part. You also mentioned the issue yemithi. Umuntu athola ukuthi akazi nemithi. But that one again, it's a twofold thing. There's an initiative needs to show initiation, an initiative to say I'm willing to learn. Maybe it's not a class meet on that day, but you need to be curious enough to say, Yenzani limit. It is for you, because Ukobela may have classes on certain times. Yet every day, every day you see limit, mix
Especially because, Master Sol, when you get to the point where you have graduated and you leave your Gobela space, now it's up to you to actually be able to, you need to be able to hear the person that is going to walk in. So it's not, you're not always going to be referring back to your Gobela. So that is why we need to refine and know and understand the relationship between the Gobela's responsibility and the Dlozi responsibility, plus the initiate's responsibility, because we cannot get the initiate out of the equation.
Yes, of course. Yes, and again, you understand that this training must come from different sides. If client whatever we're doing a ritual, it means that as we're mixing the meat, I need to teach you which meat is being used and why are these being used. That is an informal, I always call it to them a practical training. Because if I sit there and we go through meat and all of that, it's okay. But the practical part is when I've got clients coming here, we have to perform certain rituals. And I say to you, bring the lomuti. I need to teach you what is that. And now you need to ask your own questions, of course. But it is important for Gobela to teach, and more especially to teach so that this person can go out and heal.
Thokoza. Yay. I want to look at the process, the actual now Ntwaso process, the actual Ukuthwasa process. We have this thing that is called Ukhalelingani.
Yes.
What? Ukhalelingani, or Khalela Gufa, was where you are Khalela Ngani, and this is like a very critical time where you're going to face the tests that determine your bungoma, which will most likely determine your future as a healer. In there, there is ukhalela ukufa, and then because after that, then there's that's the beginning, ukhalela ukufa, and then there's the Ntwaso process that I would like you to actually then look at. Kufuna khalela inyongo and nekuyifuna inyongo yakho and getting your nyongo. What the significance of that is before we get into Barul.
Thokoza, now you've been trained, and ukhalela inyongo nokwazi ufuna inyongo, it can start on that day.
Qala ngokufa Khedla, ukhalela ukufa, what is it?
Okay. All right. Ukhalela ukufa, remember lana ufikile kwanikwa idlozi ayilasho ukuthi igama lawo lingubani. Uyabona? Le ndlozi lena kuzofuneka ukuthi manje andliza train. Kuyagidwa kwenziwa zonke lento lezo ukuthi ayi nase ready kufuneka akhalela inkani. Mina kufuneka akhalela ukufa nomuntu. Ngoba uceli or umthuthuzeli kuzofuneka yena afe on that day, on that last day, because remember, we've been training Manzolwandle through Mthuthuzeli throughout the process. On that day, ngikhalela ukufa lana ngikhalela athi umuntu mayivusela asho athi uyakhala ukhalela inyongo yakhe konke yonke lento. These things are very important and significant because ile ndlozi lithi manje sengiyazi ukuthi sekufikile lana kufuneka ndiyathi ndigraduate khona. Kuzafuneka umthuthuzeli ehle afe yena kube kanti kuvuka mina which is idlozi. Leli zafuna ukuthi lambi liyosebenza ngaphandle. Uyayibona njalo. So lo ithwasa on that day yokuthi manje udale ekhalela ukufa sekufikile kimi yokufa. Kwafuneka afe umthuthuzeli uManzolwandle aphakame. Meaning now we are now saying uManzolwandle will always come first before umthuthuzeli from this day forth. That's why on the day yokuphetula, that is the day yokufa. So then show you.
Yeah.
And
so
I get reborn. Yes. I get reborn as a new person. Yes. Because and remember, kufa ndoni, kufa all my attitudes, all my behaviors, all my understandings, all of me. The social standing and status that I've always carried with me when I was coming into a Bethlehem. Like a phoenix, who's rise Manzolwandle from those ashes. That is important because it means then from that day forward, Idlozi Lakho is in charge. Usisangoma. You are now accredited to another higher being. And that is important.
That is when you find that you then now cannot just be involved in all sorts of things. You can't be involved in petty fights. You can't be involved in all the things that used to happen in your life or that were in your life. Those things that should no longer be a part of your life going forward.
And
so you Thokoza.
And Gogo, this is not in isolation to Bungoma. You must remember, even in church, there's a prescribed process that says uyankonkoza la kungena ephehlweni. Uthi hayi ngifuna uba intombi or ngifuna uba indodana, whatever it is, I want to be a full member of this church. They don't just take you and say, oh, okay, you are a full member. You go through classes that are meant to teach you certain things about this church. It's the way it does things, whichever grouping you are going to fall in. Then kufike kuthiwa ngoku ayabaptizwa or kuthiwa hayi ubani is being ordained ukuthi hayi akakwazi ukuthi abe yindodana officially. Because at that point, one of the things that needs to change is your behavior. Everything must be seen in you. Ukuthi hayi manje sekutshintshile lo muntu. That's why nakabaptizwa ufakwe emanzini kuthiwa kususwa zonke the old you and the new you needs to rise. So nasebungomeni it is the same principle.
Thokoza ke.
Thokoza.
Thokoza. Asikhulume yes, the Nyongo. Let's talk about the Nyongo situation. I would actually, I've been in so many dwasos because of the nature of the work that I do, and I found myself in so many graduations, and I've observed so many different kinds of graduations as well, which is part of my learning process, which I really am grateful for. And I've seen so many searches and different ways in which this Inyongo situation happens. Some of them are really, it can actually even get really embarrassing.
Oh, yes.
So it's just wanting to know what can you say? What can you teach? What can you share on Inyongo, Thokoza?
You'll remember, Gogo Guti, Uhlahlubinyongo, as it is called, is one of the things that gets done even before that day of Petul. Because at that time, kuvulwa ikhanda nesifuba sethwasa. Kufuna ubona ukuthi leli dlozi seliyakwazi ukukhangela izinto lingakhangela izitshelwe. Seliyakwazi ukuthola izinto ngokuba umoya likwazi udonsa umoya usho ukuthi into ethile kuphi kanjani nakanjani. And by that time, everything has been done to be trained in order for you to be able to get to that stage. Now you come to the day of Petul. Your families are here. Everyone is here because it's a celebration. We are celebrating your becoming, Isango. It is important that people are shown also that you are able and you are and you are correct. It can be embarrassing because I've also seen different places where, like I told, next to and that it can be very embarrassing because you are in a stage on that day. So you're supposed to be able to know what because when you divine, when your clients come, you are going to need to use that ability to be able to see things that you are not told. So that process is important to just prove to everyone witnessing, because Okobela and everyone would have seen it before because they've already tested you. But now it also has to be done as part of Ukuphetula as a process to show ukuthi really leli dlozi silikhuphayo selikhulile vele. Seliyakwazi ukuthi into elitshele ukuthi inyongo yalikuphi liyabe loyithola. Basically uyafihlelwa nje just to make sure ukuthi kuyacheka ukuthi ingaba isikhanda nesifuba selivulekile na. And it is critical because really it's your last day through the initiation. You are going to go out there and show people. If you can't find your nyongo, what are you going to show?
Okay. I know that there are, because as a Gobela, there's so many things that you also cannot share around this.
Of course.
You know, so people really just have to go through the training, and not only just as a Twasa, just to go through all of it to a point where there's things that you learn when you get to a certain point, and there's things you learn when you get to a certain point, because there are levels here as well.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. I appreciate that there's things that you cannot share. So we are going to just leave it here.
Of course, unfortunately, this platform, there are people who have not gone through the process, so we can't really dig deeper than that. We just have to show them what it is, to show your abilities, basically. That's the only phrase we can use to them.
Towards Mkhulu.
Towards.
While we were talking about Inyongo, one of the things that that is actually really important in this time, in actually a lot of rituals that we as healers go through, not just in training, but also it's in ways that we do rituals for our clients as well.
Yes.
And so Inyongo is one big thing. So that's why I'd like for you to get into that. But what is so important about Inyongo? The significance of Inyongo. A lot of people have heard about Inyongo or of Inyongo. And we use Inyongo not just from goats and sheep, and we also use Inyongo from the birds that we sacrifice as well. So just please go into Inyongo as a topic.
Yes. Inyongo, Gogo, there are so many writings that are there. I mean, I'm talking about the Far East, I'm talking about your South Americans. When they talk about the importance of Inyongo, like I know they usually use for the bull, they will tell you the spiritual significance, why is it used. Not only Izangoma understands the importance of Inyongo. Inyongo, Gogo, even on our traditions generally, you can take any African, you'll realize what is also in common in most of us. We always use Inyongo on specific rituals. Inyongo is used to cleanse. Inyongo is used to connect you with your people. Lenyongo, Gogo, remember, every animal that is going to be used, as opposed to Inyongo yakhona, it would have been by iphahlelo qala, kukhulunywe phezu kwayo. And as I say, let's make an example. Kuyashadwa. Kuthiwa no, kufuneke kuchaphaziswe inyongo, bafakwe inyongo nabantu. Ngoba they are being combined. Inyongo has always been assigned its importance namadlozi. That's why mafaka amadlozi ekhaya lo muntu, one of the things that you do, uchibiza inyongo lapha egate nalapho uzobasizisa khona. Because inyongo of that animal, it is the only part of that animal it remains pure, uncontaminated by any, doesn't get mixed with anything. It's not in the stomach, it's sitting in the liver, and it just gets secreted every time it's needed by the body. Does not get at any point mixed with anything else. So it remains in Inyongo yodwa. So that, to me, that purity of it, even because Mount Tata Esiswini, for example, and there's a lot of things that got mixed there. Yet Inyongo, it is the only one that remains pure throughout the process of everyone, whether it's an animal or a human. And the animal is a converter into a purpose yokuthi kwenziwe a ritual. Le nyongo iyathathwa iyasetshenziswa for different reasons, and it's always to either cleanse, to connect. Those to me are always the biggest things I've always known, and know ukuthi inyongo, it is important for those things. But there are also medicinal uses for it. There are medicinal uses because, and again, this you can go and find what is inyongo can do. At a medicinal level, where there are medicinal uses, it is one of those parts in an animal that has always been proven to work when it comes to Amadlozi and also healing generally. That's why no cancer. Ugezisa inyama and all of that, kuthiwa uma kushoniwe ekhaya kufuneka bageziwe, kufuneka uthole inyongo yembuzi bakwazi ukuthi bagezwe nabantu. Ngoba its purity allows it also to be that one of those parts that can be used to do a cleansing of any sort and the connection towards.
Okay. Yeah, Inyongo is a seal.
Yes.
Inyongo nyona songindaba.
Yes.
Togoza.
That's why I show you, if you want to connect Amadlozi, and yet you are not using Inyongo, I don't know what you're using. Maybe there could be something else, I don't know.
And you touched on an important aspect as well, or important element. You touched on not only just to Amadlozi, smugela ngayo bantwana ekhaya. When a new child is brought home, bukelwa ngayo leyo nyongo leyo makuthiwa kwenziwa imbeleko, that is the one thing that is used. That's the important thing that is needed from any kind of animal ritual. Makuthiwa abantu bayashada, manje ngabe ngihambile nayo shada nayo sayina ecourt kungakahlangani inyongo, umshado wahulumende lo yasumshado wemadlozi.
Okwesintu you are not recognized.
Yeah, ngesintu vela usiko recognize futhi kuthi kuze kube inyongo. And masikhuluma ngenyongo sithi ngiyona songa indaba, it's the sealant.
Yes.
Into lehlanganiswe ngenyongo, makuhlanganiswe ngenyongo, then there's makuthiwa let no man put asunder or whatever. That is actually it. Leyo lehlanganiswe nenyongo noma ningahamba niye nihambile nayo sayina ecourt, say now you want to get a divorce. Divorce lapha kahulumende hayi Dlozi.
That's why ngokwesintu i-divorce is not recognized unless where amakhaya aphinde ahlala kwabikwa kubantu balana ukuthi umakoti ongubani who came to this house wahlanganiswa la ekhaya kanje akasengowalana manje akwazi ukuthi amadlozi ala the in-laws angamhluphi lapha khona ngoba kwaziwa ukuthi and then umakoti wafaka abanye abantu emzini kwenze njani.
Thokoza Kehle kunezindlela takhona nalapho to actually now undo that commitment that was actually done.
Yes.
Thokoza Kehle. I hope the viewers are actually understanding and appreciating the significance of inyongo. Search through your questions, please. I know there'll be a whole lot of questions in this regard. Yeah.
There's one. Would you like it? So somebody's asking.
There's already a question, Keitla. Let's say, are you able to discuss the dangers of it if it's used correctly and not with pure intentions?
So
if it's used incorrectly.
Incorrectly, I think that's what they wanted to say.
Yes. Look, like anything in life, like ukuphahla, like umuthi, when a wrong intention is used or is there when we are performing a certain ritual or uyaphahla, just like we always say, Bantwini, you can take the same muti that I use, let's take unukani as an example. Unukani is one of the muti that we use or yet the very same nukani, it is the same muti that gets used. So it means it is true. Everything is dangerous. Nenyongo, it is as dangerous as that. That's why kunesiko ekhaya always guard against inyongo yento ibihlatywa lapho. You must always never lose inyongo yento ibihlatywa kokwenu, because that can be used against you as a family. If kokwenu kwenziwa imbeleko la nyongo yalangani ngabona ukuthi kuphi or the sake of inyongo yona ingaziwa, please always safeguard those things with everything that you have, because that it is the sealant, it is in the center of everything. So yes, when the intention is wrong, the very same nyongo can be used against whoever on a paya. It is the same thing that if we mix a muti, ngizogeza whether kusemfuleni ukuphi, ngithele le nyongo inayo yonke lento, mara mangikhuluma la ngigoqa ngikhuluma, angisakhulumela ukuthi ngicela ukuthi ugogo Simenjalo into zakhe zivuleke kube kuhle amadlozi akhe asondele kuye. Sengikhuluma kwami manje ukuthi manje la kufuneka whatever into ayenzayo ihlangahlangana iphithizele njengalamanzi. Uyabona the danger? You are using la nyongo that was meant to become the active ingredient into attracting amadlozi akhe to turning them against him. So in nyongo, just like anything else in life, intention is everything. You have, that's why I mentioned it. La nyongo, it is nothing until kuphahle phezu kweso silwane, kukhulunywe phezu kwaso. Then that changes the silwane and it makes it fit for purpose.
Yeah, and if it seems that we are going to need more time. Let's see. Let's see how fast we can get through this. I would like to speak. The one thing that we have not spoken much of or much about in this module is Ukuthwasa is profit. Is not your goats I'm hearing?
Yes, it's goats in the crowd. It's
It's profit, okay. If you could just briefly speak on that, really briefly. Ukuthwasa is profit and Pothula kwakhona as well, what it is, and just explain it so people actually do understand that because a lot of people know that are called but are called differently.
Yes.
And there's just that also that element, yes, profit, so that is not really understood in this Ngoma space.
Okay. Briefly, Gogo, I'll just take it this way. It will take us a session on its own to talk about how it came about that a Ubu Prophet became part of who we are in its form today, right? Where Zambato and all of that. It will take another day, another session for that. Because it was based on the laws of the country that prohibited or demonized abantu practicing as a Zangoma, and it allowed them when they are channeling it through the church, right? So if my grandmother could not practice as a Sangoma because of the witchcraft and suppression act, for example, or something else, then they decided, you know what, we're not going to get caught in this thing, but we will still use our gifts, but we'll use it in this way. You listen to Fervut, one of the things they talk about is they say we allowed them to go through their churches their own way, because churches as they come from Europe. They don't have uniform like we have here, USA and Roman Catholics and all of that. They don't have that uniform. But quickly get the sleeve that, we pack it for another day. Now, kunogogo wami or kunomkhulu wami owayengasebenzi ngemithi or ngobunyanga or bungoma. Who then, all they did, they used to pray for water and heal people. They used to just place hands on top of people and heal them, because the healing powers are in you and not in a process that you go through. You are born with these healing powers. Now, these people, here I am, they, like anything else in life, it can never lie dormant forever. It needs to reincarnate. So then, and they come to me, they decide to go to Mthuthuzeli, you need to be prophet. Now I need to go and undertake a process of Pakamisa is prophet. Because basically there, all that I'm doing is I have to make sure that, and that's why even the period is very short compared to Bunyang. Because there, all they do activation. We are cleanse awena, activate prophet bakho kuwe, then kuhambe kuyophakanyiswa ephopomeni elwandle or wherever it is. Kuphakanyiswa kukhakamishelwana wena with another prophet. So that they are able then to use the Bible the way they used to. They're able to use, they can be able to use candles the way they used to. They can use water or is wash, okay? That's another thing we'll talk about another day. How is wash or get incorporated? Because remember, these people did not believe to use image. Although prophet does use image, but a selected few. It's not the wide range as the Sangoma. They do use image Chile to make sure they do what they do. But generally, they are not image people. Hence, then Iswasho became a substitute. But Ubu prophet is important because not everyone Ispio was actually Sangoma. Abanye benga prophet. Hence, Zambato and all of these things. This is how you must wear. This is our garments. This is how we look like. Towards.
That was beautiful. Wow. Parula. Let's quickly speak about Parula before Speller's said Parula.
Yes.
Please explain that. Please.
Yes.
Because Nzunza seems to get left behind. There's a lot of people have an understanding and knowledge of Umzao, but Nzunza is something else. But it's something also that we're going to get into, because we're going to be getting into the next module is on spirits.
Yes,
so the prophetic
yes. Yes, Gogo uparula tusili ukuthi nenzunza get incorporated lapaya inzunza on its own, idlozi strong on its own. For your information, that is idlozi engisebenza ngalo, that is idlozi elangibiza ukuthi mangihambe ngiyothwasa kwakuvele idlozi lenzunza, and that's how I work mostly than anything else. So to me, it's a touchy subject when I see it being ignored when people talk. But yeah, let's put it there. Uparula, as you know, Uparula, it is an act emanzini. It has to be emfuleni or wherever it is. But Uparula kwenzela emanzini, right? Because we accommodate the water spirits, basically. So all water spirits will have to, just like in Chilungati, prophet uswepopomeni or emfuleni naye for ukutalanda mandlaki. Nabo abantu bamanzi from Inzunza to Amandawe and all of that, their processes will have to be done at the river by the waters because that's where they are. That's where we divide with them. That's where we activate them. That's where we make sure ukuthi uthatha amandla akho khona. Ukuparula just like umnguni ebekhalela inyongo esenza zonke izinto lezo. Umndawo yena kufuneka uparuliwe because that's a process yena I recognize ukuthi we are now completing our training for you in this level. So umnguni uzawuhamba afuna inyongo kuthiwa inyongo yakho but umndawo doesn't have that same process. Instead therefore uparula that needs to be done.
It's a very interesting ritual also. It's very interesting to see. I love ritual, hey? For me, it's I love ritual. I love to see not just to learn, but to see how things are done, and then to learn why each thing is done the way that it is done. Which is, I find that that's been the privilege I've had for me. It's that I get to learn, I get to ask the questions. So I've gained so much knowledge just from the process of working within the way what he wants to work. Because a lot of the time we do these things are done and we don't know why they're done. And also, again, like we already observed and mentioned that it's also levels. Yes. It's also levels. As a Thwasa, you may not even understand why these things are done. But when you have actually graduated, it's then up to you, it's incumbent on you as the new graduate, as the new Sangoma, to get all of that information. There's a lot of things that you may not even learn. It's actually a lot because learning is a process and it never ends.
It never ends.
So there's a whole lot of things that you will not find, you will not learn a but the things that you are going to find that you need as you go along in this journey, and as you go along in this journey as a healer and healing people, and also to find your complete healing as well. So it's really important that when you have actually graduated, or so protocol, to keep going, to keep. But again, your Loti will guide you. If your Loti was mature and your Loti actually sent you to actually initiate, then it has a plan. So if you just follow and learn and stick to that plan and go out there and find all of that information, because there's no ways that one person can teach you everything. Yes. So we can't then go out there and be blaming our Kobelas when the onus is on our Lotis actually to lead us and to guide us to getting the information that it needs to practice.
Just one thing. The issue of rituals is very critical, and people must never look at it in isolation to Izango or our prophet. Throughout the world, there are different rituals being performed for different reasons. Rituals heal, Gogo. They heal ailments. They heal your spiritual imbalances. They even heal your psychological state. Different rituals. And people think a thing of like a massage, the Thai massage. They don't know that's a ritual. They say, I'm going for a massage. That's a ritual. Because you are going there, they are releasing certain energies from you, they are relaxing your muscles, allowing your blood to flow. Why? Because you need to be stress-free. You need to relax your body. So rituals is a complex thing. And one day maybe we'll talk about why rituals work.
Mkhulu. We are going towards the end, and I just want to, we're here. Let's please touch on Sipandla. The importance of Sipandla. We've spoken about you see the things that Kumangato says, things that you will learn, and there's things that you will not learn, but things are done to you, and things are done, and you don't actually know why the reasons why those things are done. So this is why we have these classes. Please, you've spoken of Inyongo, please explain this Sipandla. Okay.
God, again, remember we are different tribes. Let's take South Africa alone. Sipandla, in its core, even the word, will come from mostly the Zulu-speaking people. Bakhulume ngesiphandla. Amaxhosa umzekelo, they will do bathele ngentambo. Kodwa ayikwenziwa intambo yasekhaya. They usually put that whole thing of the with the goat skin or everything else, but it's called intambo. It has beads also. Then they've got like a necklace of some sort. That's when there's a ritual, a family ritual being done, right? Let's take Sipandla, because I don't know, for example, up north, what do they use? Because I know mostly Sipandla come from the KZN side. That's why Abantu Kubo is key. But let's talk about this panda and the principle and all these principles of either the beads or a rope, whatever it is used in that tribe. This animal or whichever process that was being done for you, let's take this part. An animal is a ritual for you. This animal or anything. Remember, this animal, every part of that animal get converted from the time they were speaking on top of it, so that it serves a purpose. Now, isphandla lesufneka ke ukubonwa as a proof that lo muntu uyenzile this ritual, lo muntu ebeyenzile uyile ekhaya, amadlozi akhe azohamba naye. That is a tangible part, because remember, the other ones are invisible, they are not tangible. Isphandla then get put on you because that one is a tangible one. That must stay with you for a certain period. Because remember, at this point, these people and that ritual that was being done, it's supposed to deliver its own results to you. Make an example. You are being introduced to Amadlozi when you panda safako, right? So it means the Amadlozi for a certain period, Esas panda becomes one of the things that attracts the Amadlozi and identifies you among many. Because you are, it's a continuation of whatever ritual that was being done. But in its nature, it is not permanent. It doesn't stay there forever. You can, other people are always told, let it break on its own. Other people are told, after certain days, you can break it. These are all semantics. It depends from one place to the other. Isango, imbuzi ebe photulwa ngayo as umuntu. Lesasiphandla siyafakwa as a proof yokuthi lo msebenzi wenzile. Lo muntu na proof yakhona, na bracelet yakhe. But that thing, it's supposed to be one of the identifying factors. You are literally carrying that animal with you as you go along for that prescribed period. To give that effect to that ritual.
It goes back to low.
Yes.
It goes back to intention. I hope everybody is getting that. It's very crucial. It's always about the intent. I think we should always go back to that. It really is always about the intent. And intent is shown by action and made known by words.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. It was a very educational session, this. Like actually all of the lessons have been in this module. This was the last one of the Ukuthwasa series. And we will be, I really would like to take a break, just one weekend break before we get into the next module. The next module is on Amadlozi, the different kinds of ancestral spirits that we are going to be, that we actually have heard of. Some of them you will find that you have not heard of. So this is going to provide an opportunity for you to learn. We're going to speak a lot more about Inzunza because we have people understanding Umdao and without understanding Inzunza. We're going to speak about Prophecy as well, which people call, some people call this Tunya. We're going to speak on Abaloti, which the Swati call Abaloti, a lot of people call Amadlozi. We're going to speak on Umguni. We will touch on Amanono. So please, do not miss it. You are going to learn a whole lot more. So, but we will touch on it again, just briefly, really. Thokozani makhetla makhulu. Ngifuna ukubonga kakhulu konke umuntu. I'll come back in the Afro-Savvy team that I work with here. I will also thank everybody that tunes in and everybody that sends through their questions, everybody that sends through comments and likes and keeps encouraging us, because we just would not do this without you guys. It's in our own learning, we do learn in just spending the time and sitting with all these people that we bring on. We actually have learned a lot, but we bring them on here because we get so many questions from the platform, the Afro-Savvy platform, that we decided that actually we can address these questions through bringing on the teachers that we have learned from personally. Thokozani bantu abakhulu, thokozani bantu abadala. Siyabonga kakhulu. Thokozani.